Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about training camp, which starts. We have some players that may be in trouble. Also, ESPN earlier this week ranked the Denver Broncos roster number 6. Nice high ranking. How do we like it compared to other teams on this list? Last but not least, a couple familiar faces in Broncos land got released this week. Could they have a Bronco reunion? That and much more starts now. Denver Bronco Roundup. Let's go. And we are live. A little late, some little glitches here and there, but as you see, 3 of the 4 horsemen are here. The main guy, Mr. Keith Brugman, he's on his way to training camp, so we will see him later on this week. And Keith, enjoy yourself, my friend. But we're here, powered by Denver Bronco World Order, by Broncos World Order, should say. Looking forward to a great show. My co-host tonight and POSSE. We'll start with the guy to the right with a lot of swag in that room. Mr. Jody Moncrief is with us tonight. Jody, how we doing this Tuesday night?
Doing awesome. Training camp starts Friday. It's finally here, boys. Love this time of the year. College football, NFL. Can't beat it. Let's go.
And maybe one man is missing tonight, but another man is here. The Rocket Man's here tonight on a Tuesday evening. Rocket Man, how are we doing? Trevor Salzman.
Doing well, Kenny. Excited to be here with you all. Apologize ahead of time if my internet kind of has issues. We've had a little bit of issues before we started the show, so I apologize ahead of time for that. But excited to be here, Kenny. You did great with the intros, by the way. Just a champ, like a champ. Hope we're making Keith proud tonight as he's away. Excited to get more intel from him later this week on training camp. But first and foremost, tonight's show comes first, and just excited to get back into it. Like Jody said, it's football season officially.
Yeah, a couple quick hellos. People are going to be tuning in. I know, give them a couple minutes. Paul coming in first. He's saying, howdy, partners. And he forgives you, Trevor, and forgives us. We'll all take a team responsibility for that one, Paul. And our good friend Ernie Mays, one and only. Hello, Kenny K. Go Broncos country only. Ernie, thank you. Ernie tunes in on my other shows as well over on the K&K Sports Show side, and nice supporter of ours. So he was there with the Giants show yesterday, saying hello. And said I was the 4th best podcaster. So I took that as a high compliment, being a Giants fan. So the 3 of you are ahead of me. I got room to work, but I'll take that, Ernie, as the 4th best podcaster. Thank you so much for all the support you always give us, and appreciate you. But that being said, fellas, want to get into the show? You know, we got a nice, in the intro, we got a nice show lined up for everybody. One more hello. There's Roy Osborne saying hello, and Michael Ronquillo as well. Everybody's friend Michael Ronquillo. Good evening, Kenny, Trevor, and Jody. Go Bo Broncos, blue and orange hearts. Yesterday he came in with the blue and white hearts, and I'm sure that's with some stars, Trevor. Yeah. I don't have it in front of me. Is that 100 or more? Please let them know. Let the audience know, Michael.
Yes, Michael comes in with 100 stars. Michael, we appreciate you, as always, coming in. So just supporting the show, just being a part of the show. Thank you for the 100 stars. But, yes, Michael, with 100 stars, thank you, Michael, very, very much.
Yeah, one more salute from Michael Ronquillo and the posse out there. Once again, Keith's not with us tonight. Keith is going to be en route to training camp, so he's got the night off, but he will be doing a lot of work for everybody this upcoming week at training camp. So looking forward to what Keith has to share with us this week and, going forward for the rest of the week there. But again, Roy's saying hello. And yes, we got a fun-filled show for everybody. We're going to start off with said training camp started. So we got a training camp topic for everybody to play along. We like these audience participation topics. And the one we got Jody and Trevor to start the show off is some players, and we're going to do 3 each. Players that we think may be in trouble this training camp to start and need to step up. So trouble means maybe, they can maybe lose their starting position, or even worse, maybe not make this roster. So why don't we start to my right? We'll give Jody the floor first, and his number one guy who he wants to say might be in trouble this training camp, meaning he needs to step up because either the room's tough, or like I said, maybe it's just a numbers game, and we'll see what happens. Let's see which way Jody wants to go.
My number one guy is Audric Estime. Denver drafted him in the 5th round last year. I think they had high hopes. He started off with a couple fumbles last year, then had the injury where they put him on PUP for 4 weeks, and then never really got back into it. I mean, he was used, sporadic throughout the year. I thought going into this offseason he was going to have a real shot at being RB1. They went out and drafted R.J. Harvey, with their 2nd round pick, and then they brought in J.K. Dobbins. And you still have Jaleel McLaughlin on this roster, who was the leading rusher for this team last year. So, all those factors, I think he really needs to, step it up this OTAs and preseason and solidify himself on this roster. I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and I've seen what he can do in the past. Hopefully he can prove it here and, make this roster. I think he makes Denver better, but may the best man win in this running back room.
Yeah, and Trevor's having some internet issues, so I will go next. But Paul is saying, I think the scope affected Estime's knee. Bear with me, everybody. I don't have the option to put the comments on the screen, but I can read them. And Ernie's saying, I can't say anything about my team. I want them all to start. Jody, I'm with you. I like the Estime pick. I think he's in the numbers game there. But I think Estime makes this team, Jody. I think you'll be happy. And the reason why I think he makes the team, he's a different back than the other 3. J.K. Dobbins comes in a smaller back. R.J. Harvey gets drafted early in the 2nd round, smaller back. Jaleel McLaughlin, smaller back. Audric Estime is the guy that can get you to power. So my guy is also a running back, and I've been saying this for weeks now. Jaleel McLaughlin may be a cap casualty. You nailed it when you said top rusher, Jody, last year. But if he was the top rusher, why aren't you using him like a top rusher this year and let him split the carries with R.J. Harvey? Instead, you go and get J.K. Dobbins. I don't think there's a lot of confidence in Jaleel McLaughlin, and I think he may have to step up big time to have a spot on this roster. So we're going to see. Hopefully they both make it and he goes with 4, Jody, but I can easily see a running back getting in trouble. So what are your thoughts of Jaleel McLaughlin?
I'm in the same boat as you. He was Denver's leading rusher last year, but Sean Payton never really showed a lot of trust in him. He never used him as a bell cow in any game. He still kept going back to Javonte Williams. And then they brought in J.K. Dobbins right away this offseason. So I think both those two, if they end up only keeping 3, it's a battle between those two who makes this final roster. One thing we haven't talked about, I think special teams is going to be important. Who steps up and plays special teams?
Yeah. think that's a good point, Jody. Trevor's back. I'm going to catch up on the comments, and then we just did our number one guy each. Trevor, we each picked a running back. Jody went Estime, could be in trouble. I went McLaughlin, could be in trouble, needs to step up. Michael Ronquillo's list is Troy Franklin, Audric Estime, and PJ Locke, safety. And Paul right under that saying, Sean is like a carpenter who needs all kinds of different tools. Nice, great point. Like we were saying, like I said, too many smaller backs with McLaughlin. I think Estime might be safe. Zach Diekman comes in. Thanks for hanging out, Zach. Cannot drop catches, and those running backs need run with both hands. Such a bummer watching people fumble. Melvin could have been awesome. Way too many were so lucky in the running back room right now. McLaughlin is a one-trick Bronco from Paul. And then a couple more, and then we'll get Trevor's. Zach, special teams got way better. Michael Ronquillo comes in. Broncos special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi has plans for Julio McLaughlin. And Roy, I would say long shot, maybe 4 backs, not sure. Trevor, after all, and Posse, keep the comments and answers coming in. You heard both of ours. I see Michael just, says Rizzi has plans for Julio McLaughlin, so he may be a little on the safer side, but I still think he may need to step up. Who do you like? Or not who do you like? Who do you think is in needs to step up this training camp to either start, be a role player or, and make the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, I agree with Jody. Audric Esme, I think, is on the list. I'll go a different direction because you want Audric Esme. I kind of had a feeling he would, but I 100% agree with him there. I'm going to go Alex Singleton, and I know this is a name out there, right? But here's the thing. Alex Singleton's coming off a season-ending injury. We don't know what kind of Alex Singleton you're going to get back. Denver has inside linebackers in on this roster now to compete. Who's to say that they would keep Alex Singleton long term and through this season? I mean, we see surprise cuts all the time. There's going to be a name out there that's going to pop up on some guy, some player. Unfortunately, this is how the NFL business kind of works. There's going to be some name out there that Broncos country or whatever, any team is going to notice if you follow the NFL closely. And I think for me, Alex Singleton is a little bit on the bubble. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I mean, again, he missed all of last season. He does rack up a lot of tackles, but he also misses a lot of tackles. Not great in coverage. You have Drew Sanders that you want to get playing time to. I love Lavelle Bailey. I mean, you've got other players in that inside linebacker room that you want to get playing time as well, and can push, I think, Alex Singleton to kind of give it all his best, because you have Dre Greenlaw, who's your starting linebacker. Who else behind him? What else do you have behind him? I think is one of the biggest questions going into training camp in this season for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that's a good pick, Trevor. That's a good pick. Drew Sanders is a name to watch in training camp for sure. Before we get number 2, let's get Paul's question so we don't lose it. Do you guys think all the rookie running backs will cause some quality vets to get cut? Now, do you mean in the league, Paul, or you mean for the Broncos? Because I'm going to answer it, maybe answer it in a slightly different way. I'll go sophomore and rookie running backs, and if that's the way I'm going to answer it, I'm going to say yes. I'll use the New York Giants, the team that I'm a fan of, as an example. Drafted Cam Scatterbo in the 4th round last year. Tyrone Tracy emerged as the starting running back. You have a veteran in Devin Singletary, who's right now the number 2, but if Cam Scatterbo steps up to be the number 2 running back in training camp and preseason, Devin Singletary may be a vet cut and a good running back that a team can take advantage of signing because of a team wanting to go younger in that position. But I'll go to Trevor first. Do you think some quality vets will get cut?
Yeah, I mean, I think Paul's alluding to in the whole entire league. We just seen, fellas, a draft class that's very deep in running backs. I do think we're going to see some veteran running backs released and on the open market. And I think that if you're the Broncos, I mean, you're still looking for a running back by then, training camp happens, or maybe J.K. Dobbins isn't the running back you thought he might be when you first signed him. There's a guy out in the open market that, and a quality name, quality player, I think that will be out there on the open market. I think this rookie draft class has kind of, and we'll see it over time, push veterans, especially in the veteran running backs, to step up and make a roster, or you get cut. We already know running backs' lives in the NFL are short as is.
Yeah. Before I go to Jody, another team to watch is Dallas. They have our friendly face, Javonte Williams, listed as their number one running back right now. They also brought in Miles Sanders. Their two young guys are Deuce Vaughn, who I like, and Jaden Blue, who they drafted this year. So there could be a vet cut there as well. So there's going to be some names available during training camp. Looking through some comments, Michael saying Broncos need to use Marvin Mims as a gadget player and not special teams. And then Clayton saying, hey, guys, smash the like button and share, guys. I'm telling you, we got to use Clayton as a voiceover. Instead of us saying what he's saying, we need Clayton's voice saying that every week. So welcome, Clayton. Good seeing you. And he's saying Denver Broncos for life. Zach saying got lucky with Blue. Let's get our number two guys that are in little danger. Jody, why don't we go to you first this time?
I think Alex Forsythe is. He was penciled in, or what a lot of people thought he was going to be the starter last year. The connection he had with Bo Nix from Oregon. Luke Wattenberg ended up taking that spot over and, running away with it. And then, he was the guy that was the guy on his back when that field goal was blocked in Kansas City. That cost some coaches their jobs and some different things. And then they brought in a free agent, Clay Webb, who I think is really going to push to be that versatile guard / center. It might be where you can keep one less lineman because he can play both spots. Forsythe has really done nothing since he's been here other than he has that connection with Nix that we're never going to be able to see now. So I think his spot on this 53 is in major danger or in major trouble.
Yeah. I like that one too, Jody. Phil is saying, and True Lost Trevor again, so I can't put the comments on the screen. Sorry, guys. Facebook is having problems with Facebook allowing stars. Don't ever apologize, Phil. You are a huge supporter and contributor to Denver Bronco Roundup each and every week, and just to have your presence here is a huge welcome. So please don't ever apologize about that. Keith came in with the question. I'm going to get to a second. Our good friend, our fellow main host of Denver Bronco Roundup, Keith Brugman. He wanted to know if Josie Jewell or Noah Fant, which former Bronco would you pick? But as Michael alluded, and I was going to mention that not too long ago, unfortunate news, Josie Jewell announced his retirement because of his concussion issues. I want to wish Josie Jewell the very best. Maybe he can get a coaching job lined up somewhere, maybe a broadcasting job. He could stick with football. Very young age, had to retire. You hate to see that. And you hope he can, continue with football in some sense, because we know that, he's a hard worker at it, and I never had a problem with Josie Jewell. But he wanted to know, and Keith, it's funny because I'm going to segue right into my number 2 pick, but another new face coming in, Dreamweaver, saying some, not a new face, but a new face tonight. What's up, fellas? Hope you guys are having a great night. You as well, Dreamweaver. Thanks for hanging out. He's saying neither, Keith. Both are washed, meaning Noah Fant and Josie Jewell. Noah Fant was released as well, so Keith was asking the question, would you bring him back? I would, Jody, if this guy doesn't step up at all this year during training camp. And my patience is like walking on an eggshell with this guy. And I've been high on this guy, and so is Sean Payton. and that's Lucas Krull. Lucas Krull needs to step up big time, not just baby steps, big time this training camp and preseason, or you're gone. And I'm thinking about bringing Noah Fan in before he gets signed elsewhere. So he needs to step up big time soon this week while Keith is there. Keep an eye on Lucas Krull for me, my friend, because if he doesn't step up, I give Noah Fant another shot. Why not? So, show some of the talent he showed when Russell Wilson was the quarterback. He was getting open down the field. And why can't he be that guy? Not saying he's got to be the starter and get 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, but be a contributor, be the backup tight end, the receiving tight end. And if Ingram goes down for a game or two, you can count on him. So Lucas Krull, my number 2 pick, and Trevor's back. So why don't we get Trevor's thoughts on it and go to his number 2?
We were at Keith's question before we went to our number 2, right?
Yeah, I answered. Michael alluded to, and thank you, Michael, for the news. Josie Jewell announced his retirement because of concussion issues. So he wanted to know Noah Fant or Jewell, who do we take? So by default, if we're going to take one of those two, I think it would have to be Noah Fant. And I wish Josie Jewell nothing but the best. While he was a Bronco, I had no issues with him at all. So, I hope he can continue in football in some sense, in some way. And, at a young age, you hate to see somebody retire because of that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to go answer this, meaning Josie Jewell, it would still play. Of course, I mean, now we know that he announced his retirement. But if I had to pick between the 2 players and Josie Jewell didn't retire, I'd actually pick Josie Jewell because I think he can make an impact to this defense and this inside linebacker room. Because here's the thing. Would you rather take Josie Jewell over Alex Singleton? I don't think that's been answered yet. I mean, the Broncos did, obviously, when they let Josie Jewell go to the Panthers and he got paid. Josie Jewell got paid. But I think right now, I don't think has been answered what you want. Bronco fans or people in the media, who would you want, Josie Jewell or Alex Singleton? Josie Jewell got paid for a reason. We went to Carolina. So he's a good sideline to sideline inside linebacker. He's actually really good in coverage as well. So I'd actually, if Josie Jewell didn't retire, and again, best wishes to him going forward, and hopefully he enjoys retirement. Josie Jewell would be, I think, a heck of an addition to this Broncos defense alongside Drake Greenlaw.
Yeah, before we get to your number 2, Keith, Trevor, sorry. Pearl saying, hi all, I'm running late. Pearl, we were late too, as Paul alluded to, but for those who don't know, we are starting 8 p.m. Mountain Time now, as opposed to our earlier time of 7:30 start. So Tuesdays and Fridays, you'll see us at 8 p.m. going forward. Peter Johnson's coming in for the first time tonight. What's up, Peter? We need a linebacker more than a tight end. It would be Jewell for me as well. So he agrees with you, Trevor. And Zach saying Singleton will come back and shut it down. He had more stats than the whole D in 2023. I think that's what, did I say that right?
Yeah.
And Michael's saying CTE is no joke. It's not, definitely isn't, Michael. And, anybody who's going through that, I wish you all the best for sure.
Absolutely.
I know, I don't want to get into it too much, but I went to school with a former NFL player, Wayne Corbett, Jets wide receiver, and he unfortunately had a ton of concussions, and he has bad days. So CTE, we could do a whole show on it. I don't want to do it tonight. I can tell you exactly what he's going through and everything. So it really is no joke, Michael, and thank you for pointing that out. Why don't we get your number 2 guy, Trevor, that needs to step it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this is a tough one. I'm going to go PJ Locke. I think Michael alluded to it earlier. I think PJ Locke's a guy that, yes, I think maybe is he a starter? Probably not. But I think depth-wise, can PJ Locke bring some depth alongside him? I mean, he's getting paid a decent amount of money as well. Denver would actually save some money if they cut him. But I think they would rather him make this roster. Of course, everybody, a PJ Locke fan, you'd want to make sure he made the roster. He's clearly not a starter. Hufanga is going to end up being that guy right next to Brandon Jones. We've seen kind of some of the flaws that PJ Locke, I think, had last season. But I think he's a guy that's kind of on that bubble a little bit. And I think he needs to have a good training camp because you have Turner Yell and some of these other guys behind him that could really step up and take a spot like PJ Locke because I mean, again, that's a veteran compared to a rookie scale kind of contract. That's a lot smaller money, and the performance is about the same. Well, the team's probably going to go in that kind of direction, towards a younger player and cheaper money. So PJ Locke for me, nevertheless, is a guy that I'm watching and I think needs to have a good training camp to make this roster. I don't think he's a guaranteed a roster spot.
Yeah, it's a good one, Trevor. Jody, you want to throw some thoughts on PJ Locke? And then they'll go right back to Trevor because he's having some internet issues. So we'll try and get his number one in as well in case his internet gets choppy on us.
Yeah, I'll go with a different number 3 when it comes back to me. PJ Locke was my number 3 as well. I mean, the first player Denver went and got this offseason was Hufanga, and I think it was for a reason. They felt PJ Locke underperformed, especially in that Buffalo game. They signed Sam Franklin this offseason from the Panthers. The only thing that in the back of my mind is how much was the bulging disc, or where he had the disc fuse, how much was that causing his play to go down? Did this solve the problem, and can he get back to what allowed Denver to cut Justin Simmons and give him a starting spot? If I had to say no right now, I mean, I think he just loses out in the numbers game. Denver went out and got 2 safeties, like I said, in the offseason and looked to upgrade that position.
Yeah, and like Peter's saying too, he's got a good point too, Trevor, on PJ Locke. Really good to have Locke on their roster as an insurance policy for safety. Could be used in that dime formation as well. Saving money could be the bigger factor. Unfortunately, it is a business. PJ's Locke. Yeah. He's got NFL talent. He could be a backup at minimum on any team in this league. But when it comes to saving money, teams look to do it so they have some cap space if they need it later on down the road. So that's going to be something to watch, and he may have to step it up where the Broncos are forced to keep him in a good way. So you want him to step up in a good way so he's still on this roster. Michael, good point. He's bringing up some non-Bronco news. Rock legend Ozzy Osbourne passed away at 76, for those who don't know. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. He did a lot of concerts in New Jersey, it was like a festival, and he was part of it every year, and it was always a good one. So he will be missed in the music world, Ozzy, and rest in peace. I got one more, and it's Trent Sherfield for me, guys. And what I mean by stepping up is he's only got to step up a little bit, in my opinion, if the Broncos want to use Marvin Mims as wide receiver. But he can't come into this training camp and preseason and start fumbling the ball away on punt returns, because that's going to mean released. And I don't want to see Marvin Mims back there anymore. I want to see the wide receiver Marvin Mims that the Broncos drafted. Marvin Mims is one heck of a kick returner, or punt returner, I should say, and Pro Bowler in the past and maybe even the future. But I don't want him to be just that. I don't want to remember Marvin Mims as a good punt returner. I want to remember Marvin Mims as a future number 1 wide receiver that the Broncos had hopes of when they drafted him a couple years ago in the second round. So Trent Sherfield, an easy one for me. I think he has to step up, and he's got a nice roster spot on this team this year if he does step up. So I think he'll be your starting punt returner. Trevor, thoughts on that? And then we'll get your final one.
I think Trent Sherfield is going to be I just lost my thought. He's going to be, I think, a key contributor on special teams. I can certainly understand. Maybe he needs to have a good training camp, because I think any player on special teams, I think there's a better possibility that the Broncos go out there and pursue special team players than anything, because I mean you don't see high price special team players out there, but that often, I should say. Gunner, as well, I was going to say, he's going to be that gunner position. I think Trent Sherfield. I think that's why they signed him. I think he'll make this roster, but again, if you're any player out there right now, you can't take any snap off. You got to go hard every play. And then Ken, you said you wanted my third one.
Yeah, let's get your third one, and then we'll go to Jody.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, this is a little bit of a toss up. And this is why I say it. Is J.K. Dobbins guaranteed to make this roster? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we just got done.
I think so with what they paid him.
But they paid him little to nothing.
I mean, they went out and got him for a reason. You're taking reps away from from young running backs.
My thing is, since we just talked about it, if a veteran running back comes available and he's more dependable than J.K. Dobbins and maybe he's a better player, they pay J.K. Dobbins little to nothing to come to Denver. Who's to say? I'm not trying to say they're going to cut J.K. Dobbins. What I'm saying is just keep an eye out on the running backs out there on the open market as we get closer to the regular season, because as J.K. Dobbins, I think, is a good running back. There is some injury issues with him, and he's probably not going to play a full season. You want somebody dependable on that side of R.J. Harvey. That's why I'm going to go a little bit of a surprise pick probably for many. But J.K. Dobbins, I think, is a guy that needs to still have a good training camp, because it's not like you got this massive deal. You got a short-term deal, very little money to come to Denver. And any running back, any veteran running back, and we just said it earlier, can absolutely be replaced at any point in time, especially when you have issues on staying on the field. So I'd like to get your guys' thoughts, but it's a little bit of a surprising name I'm going to throw out there, a little spicy, but I just don't think he's necessarily guaranteed a roster spot right now. Anyways, I think you need to continue to earn it on the field.
Yeah, let's do this. I see Peter is actually answered. That's all. We'll put Peter's up. We'll get Jody's thoughts. I'll throw my 2 cents in, and then we'll get our intermission break, and then we'll go back to the posse with some comments and questions. Peter's saying, I thought that as well, Trevor. If R.J. Harvey kills it in preseason, J.K. Dobbins could be gone. Jody, your thoughts. You're higher on Estime still. We said that earlier. Estime steps up in preseason, in training camp. Could Dobbins be in trouble, Jody?
I don't think so. I think Dobbins was brought in to fill the role of Javonte Williams. I mean, there was a reason all year Javonte Williams was not only getting playing time, but a lot of it when he was averaging under 3 yards a carry. It's because Sean Payton trusted him back there. He trusted him in pass protection. I mean, you've got 3 guys. Jaleel McLaughlin is undersized. You got Audric Estime. For whatever reason, it may be Sean Payton is not 100% committed to him. And R.J. Harvey, who has never played a snap in the NFL, he wants someone back there when it's 3rd and 8, you need to pick up a blitz. That's why I think J.K. Dobbins will make this roster, and he will be around all year for that. If for nothing else, for that reason alone, whether R.J. Harvey tears it up to start off or Audric Estime tears it up to start off, you're still going to see him on 3rd down pass protecting.
I could see it like Jody, like Trevor said. I could see it, Jody. And, how much is it going to cost if you release him? Is all that, what's the cap hit going to be on that running back would be what I would look at. But Dobbins that's a good one. Dobbins needs to step up, because if Estime steps up and McLaughlin steps up, he was the leading rusher. Jody alluded to that earlier. If they both step up in preseason, they're going to be hard to release. And, Dobbins might be the easy one out. He has no experience in this Broncos offense where the other 2 have. So going to be interesting to see for sure. I could see it. I'm going to say there will be. I'm going to make a bold prediction now, and there will be at least one big surprise cut on this Broncos team this year, because somebody, a rookie, or an undrafted free agent steps up big time this preseason and catches a veteran being lazy, and the Broncos move on from him. So that's going to be my bold prediction.
Quickly, the J.K. Dobbins contract, 1 year, $5.25 million. 2.7 of that is guaranteed. So he has more non-guaranteed money on his contract than he does guaranteed contract.
Yeah,
that's why I say, like, I don't think he's guaranteed to make a roster spot. He can't just come in and walk in and say, yeah, this is my roster spot for this season and just kind of kick back. He's got to continue to push the envelope because it's not even just RJ Harvey. You have Tyler Bidet, you have Jaleel McLaughlin, you have Otter Kesman that are trying to make this roster as well. You need to continue to push yourself. And I know he's a veteran. I think he'll take care of business, but I don't think he should be guaranteed a roster spot right now because you have Tyler Bidet who could make this roster, but he's good in pass protection as well.
Yeah, that's important. And we'll get Captain's comment there on the bottom, and then we'll take the intermission break, Trevor. Too many worries about cap space. We want to win. Who cares about money? Let's do our intermission break. Trevor, you're going to talk about Morgan Trinkets for us, our sponsor for this evening, and thank you, Ms. Pearl, for sponsoring us at Morgan Trinkets. And then when we come back, we'll start with Keith's question so we know where to queue up, Trevor, when we come back.
Absolutely. So let me tell you about our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. With over 33 years of experience, they are your headquarters for Southwest pottery and jewelry, as well as estate gold at wholesale prices. Started in 1990, once a nationwide company. Now they do shows exclusively in northern Colorado and southern Wyoming. All their gold is real gold, 10, 14, or 18 karat gold. All their silver is sterling silver. How do you find Morgan Trinkets? On Facebook, on Facebook by searching Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today. If you catch Morgan Trinkets at one of their shows, they take all major credit cards. On Facebook, they take PayPal, and all orders are shipped free over $50. Check out Morgan Trinkets. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today. Thank you, Ms. Pearl, for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it, and we couldn't be more excited to have you as part of the show.
Yes, and Trevor, right there at the end, the most recent comments, if you could put that up, Ms. Pearl put where they are this week at the Cheyenne Depot Museum for Cheyenne Frontier Days, Frontier Days through Saturday. So you could catch Ms. Pearl and Morgan Trinkets. Go say hello to her if you're in the Wyoming area, and tell her the Denver Bronco Roundup sent you, so she knows who you're part of the posse. So. Ms. Pearl, if I was a little closer out to you, we got to come out to the Maryland area, Ms. Pearl, and I'll make sure we have a nice gathering for you if you ever come to Maryland, in Maryland area. So, all right. So why don't we get?
Can I throw one more name out real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
That I think really could be on the chopping block that no one mentioned is Jaquan McMillan. I think with bringing in Jahdae Barron, what is Jaquan McMillan's role on this team? I think he's pretty much lost the number 3, slot cornerback role. What can Jaquan McMillan play outside? Can he compete with Riley Moss? Where does he fit on this roster? I mean, you also got Abrams Drains, you got Davari Mathis still. So I think he is more of a trade casualty for me because I think he still has value to some team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I like that, Jody.
Can I reply to that, Kenny, really quick?
Yep, absolutely. And I'm just going to scroll up to find Keith's question so we can start when you're finished, Trevor. Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Jody, my only thing is I think that you have to be careful with you want draft picks back for players. You want to try to get ahead of the curve, and you'd rather get value back. But here's my thing. You got to feel pretty strong behind Jaquan McMillan if you're going to move on from him. And I say that because Jaquan McMillan's still a very good cover cornerback, and was good last year for the Denver Broncos. Jahdae Barron just slipped to Denver in the first round. If he wasn't there, I think they would have went in a different direction, and I don't think they would have went corner as early as they did. Jahdae Barron is just that special of a player. And if you have an injury like Riley Moss go down, who is going to be behind Jaquan McMillan, Chris Abrams Drain? I mean, you're starting to kind of get down the depth chart a little bit when it comes to corners. Cornerbacks are a premium position. The Broncos know that. They've said that plenty of times. I think they value Jaquan McMillan a lot. I almost think it might be a mistake if they ended up moving on from him. I think that they are going to keep him. He's cheap. And I just don't know if those guys behind him are quite ready to step up to the plate yet. But again, I mean, interesting name. We shall see what Denver ends up doing. That would be my concern if you're moving on from Jaquan McMillan.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Do want to get to the posse, and part of our posse tonight is Mr. Brugman, who's on his way to training camp. Feels funny saying Keith's a posse member tonight, but he officially is. He's in the chat, and glad you're with us, Keith. Hope you're having a good trip so far on your way to training camp. Can't wait to see some pictures and maybe some videos as well. He has a question. 49ers without Ayuk and Pearsall, Jody. Do the Broncos have a tradable wide receiver on the roster?
I don't really think so, because I don't think they want to move on from Cortland Sutton. They value him, and I think they get maybe not a long-term deal, but I think like a 3-year deal done with him pretty soon. So I don't think they really do. Possibly Mims, but I think that would be more special teams than anything. I mean, what are teams trading for? Franklin had like 20-some catches last year. Vele the same, in the 200-yard range. There's really nothing on this roster that stands out to you. A lot of potential, but I mean, I don't see anyone giving up draft picks for him.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. I'm going to say Devon Vele has some trade value. Not only for the 49ers, but for the Broncos. You have a wide receiver who you drafted in Pat Bryant, who I think is very similar to Devon Vele when I look at this roster. And Troy Franklin, I think, is more of the explosive type, going to be the more home run shot, more speed there. Marvin Mims, I think the Broncos want to eventually try and make him the number one wide receiver, but use him as a Deebo Samuel type. You don't want to trade that away, so that's not a tradable piece. Cortland Sutton's your number one. You want to be a contender this year, you're not going to trade him day one. So I'm going to say he's definitely not tradable. That leaves me Devon Vele and Pat Bryant, who you just drafted. You're not going to trade him. Vele could be a guy that, if with a decent training camp, the Broncos may surprise move and get maybe a 4th or 5th rounder for him, and you gain from the 6th round pick that you chose him last year. So that would be the one I would play devil's advocate. Do I see it happening? Right? No. But would I be completely shocked if it did? I wouldn't be completely shocked either. So, Trevor, you break the tie here. Any tradable pieces, or are you going to say no? Broncos definitely don't have a tradable wide receiver.
I mean, I think Cortland Sutton is the wide receiver that you would get the most value for sure. Just based on what he's done the past couple seasons with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different complete style quarterbacks as well, and Russell Wilson and Bo Nix. But I mean, I think Devon Vele might be tradable, but again, what price are you going to get back from him? At most a 6th rounder, maybe a 7th. I mean, it's just like I think the value there is just not there enough. I think you would have to you'd be just kind of eating. The Devon Vele isn't good enough to make this roster, which he absolutely is. I would give it more time. I think that just goes to show how young the Broncos wide receiver room is, though, because we haven't seen anybody else step up. Marvin Mims also might have some trade value, but again, I don't think it's going to be anything, worth pursuing aggressively, especially with Sean Payton having, I think, big plans for Marvin Mims in this offense.
Like it. Why don't we do this, guys? We had 3 separate segments. We got our first segment finished in the first half of the show. The second half of the show was going to be ESPN's rankings on rosters and posse questions. I see a couple more posse questions, so why don't we hit those up, and then we'll wrap up with the ESPN rankings of the Broncos roster. I got one from Zach shortly under Keith's comment there, Trevor. It says, do we think we have 4 jokers in our deck now? And do we think we've taken the number 1 spot in our division? I'll go right back to you first on this one.
For jokers, I think you have one really good one, I think, in Evan Ingram. From a joker standpoint, I mean, you got to see what I think RJ Harvey can do. with this offense. I mean, he's got to get better at pass protection first, so he can see the field a little bit more. But I don't know about 4 jokers. I would say probably Evan Ingram for sure. Other than that, though, it's I mean, maybe 1 or 2 more guys. You can argue that, but Evan Ingram, I think, is your one important joker to this offense and a big reason why the Broncos pursued him aggressively this offseason.
Yeah, and I'll let Jody get the final word on this one. I'm going to answer the second part. Do we think we've taken number 1 in our division? You're getting close, Zach, in my opinion. And stock is only going up. And you could be there after week 1. You could be there after week 4. By season's end, I think you will be there. But until you knock those Kansas City Chiefs off that pedestal, I got to go with them at number 1 still. So a number 2, and then the Raiders and Chargers fight for that 3 and 4 spot. All around, I think, they got offense, I think, is going to be number 2 in this division to start the season. Jody, I'm going to give you the final say on this question.
4 jokers, I don't think so, but I think you have 2 in Marvin Mims for 1. I mean, we've seen what he could do last year, outside, inside. He could do a lot of different things, and I think Evan Ingram is going to do the same thing. You're going to see him line up tight. You're going to see him in the slot. You're going to see him using a bunch of different ways. And I think, have we taken the number 1 spot in this division? No, because until we do it, you haven't done it. So, but I think we're right there. You're 1 block field goal away from beating Kansas City 3 of the last 4 times. And Sean Payton has mentioned that multiple times, that we've beaten Kansas City and we're right there with them. To me, it all hinges on obviously health with a couple of the guys you've signed, but this hinges on Bo Nix. Does Bo Nix take that next leap, which I think he will? And the main reason for me is he's coming into this offseason as a solidified number 1 starter. He's getting all the reps, everything. I think that hurt him last year, and you've seen it in the first 4 or 5 games. I mean, he didn't play well until he got his footing and figured out some different things. And I think Sean Payton really messed up last year. He knew Nix was going to be the guy. Why he waited and played that game, he should have named him the starter, given him the reps, and let him, grow. I mean, you took him with the 10th pick for a reason. And this year, I think he comes back and, getting all the reps. So I think Denver is going to be in a prime position to overtake, whether it's Kansas City, Chargers, whoever. But I think coming into the year, Denver will be right there in contention for this AFC West.
Yeah, well said and agreed. Bill's got one, Trevor. I'm going to put his up. It's a free agent question. He wants to know if the Broncos would be interested in any of these guys. Linebacker Eric Kendricks, linebacker Kazir White, wide receiver Keenan Allen. You want to go first again, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, I think Eric Kendricks is a guy to keep your eye on, Phil. Keep in mind the Denver Broncos signed 2 veteran inside linebackers last season, Zach Cunningham and Quan Alexander. So they're not afraid to go out there inside veteran inside linebackers. So Eric Kendricks, I think, would be a name to keep an eye on if they wanted to go that direction and they didn't like what they've seen from Drew Sanders. Maybe Alex Singleton didn't come back the way they thought he would from his injuries. So Eric Kendricks, I think, is a realistic name. Was a starter with the Cowboys for a couple seasons, and played for the Chargers. So he's got starting experience. I think so. I think if you start seeing maybe injury issues in that inside linebacker room, or Denver just doesn't have the quality depth that they want, and in the building right now, Eric Kendricks, the guy that kind of catches my eye a little bit. Keenan Allen, I don't think so, because I think they're going to go young at wide receiver. I think they've made that pretty clear. Keenan Allen, for whatever reason, he's just not getting signed right now. But I think down the line, I think that there's a good possibility that he does from some contender.
Yeah, I agree, Trevor. I think don't be surprised if you see those 49ers go get Keenan Allen, or I think Amari Cooper's out there still. I think Keenan Allen's going to sign somewhere this week once training camp starts. You get some, you get some, unexpected little minor injuries, and I think this guy's too good to be not signed yet, and I think he's just waiting for training camp to start. I think he'll be signed sometime real soon by a team, but I just don't think it's the Broncos. I could see a linebacker, though, like you said, Trevor. Joe, do you want to add anything? And then we'll move on to, I think we'll move on to ESPN rankings after that.
I hope Denver doesn't go out and sign anyone right now. I want, starting with the linebacker position, I want to see if Alex Singleton, one, comes back healthy and how he looks. And I want to see what Drew Sanders can do. I don't want to waste, time with splitting reps if Drew Sanders is ready to go or Alex Singleton is back to form with some of these other linebackers. And then whether I necessarily probably wasn't all on board with this, but Sean Payton has said, all the way going back to last year that he loves this wide receiver room. He loves it a lot more than what the national pundit thinks of it. They got ranked low again, and Sean Payton come out and said, that's fine. We love this wide receiver room. He's compared Vele to Marcus Colston. He's compared Pat Bryant to Michael Thomas. He loves, he got rid of tons of vets off this roster when he first came here, and Cortland Sutton was one that stuck around. He loves this wide receiver room, and, once he figured out he could play Mims and use him, I don't see any reason to bring in another wide receiver and mess up the chemistry.
Yeah, well said. I'm looking here. I think we're caught up on the questions. I do want to put up one comment closer to the bottom. It's from Captain saying, we have to go win Super Bowl 60. It's my 60th season as a Bronco fan. Then I can be a happy man. I'm not going to say the word he has on there. We're going to make you a happy man, Captain, and win that Super Bowl 60. Let's go. Why not? Why not? Why? He's saying the Matrix freaked out when I said Super Bowl. Why? Why can't they go win a Super Bowl? The Washington Commanders and Denver Broncos shocked the world last year. Broncos made the playoffs, and the Commanders came one game to get into the Super Bowl. So why not? Why not? And that being said, guys, you guys got any more questions you want to add before we get to ESPN?
And I agree with him. Other than
the rosters,
and I agree with him. Other than health, which that's for every team. If Bo Nix takes that next step, and it doesn't have to be a giant step, if he can grow and his last 10 games, he was a top 6 to 8 quarterback. What he did down the season, Kay Adams broke it out. He was like 40. If you prorate it, 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns. Over 70% comp. If he starts out like that and plays for a full 17 games, not only will he be in the MVP race, but he will have Denver right where they need to be if this defense is what we think they will be.
Yeah, and real quick, I preach this all the time. If this Broncos defense is going to be as good as everybody expects it to be, and I'm talking top 5 as a floor, ceiling being best in the league, Bo Nix in the offense only has to be like top 15, top 10 to make a deep run in this playoffs. Mm-hmm. You don't need Bo Nix to be Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford. You don't need him to be Joe Burrow. You need him to be Bo Nix, manage the game properly, don't have no sophomore slumps, gain, maturity this year, get better. This Broncos team could go far if this defense is what it is supposed to be, as everybody has it on paper. So let's go. Okay, Trevor.
I was just going to say, that's why I think there's more pressure on Sean Payton in this year than I think Bo Nix. And some say, well, that's surprising. Is it because Bo Nix put this offense on his shoulders last year? We've seen it. And the defense, Sean Payton and this run game just could never figure it out. NFL defenses and defensive coordinators around the NFL, they're going to figure out Bo Nix and what Sean Payton's going to have to do. He's going to have to pivot. He's going to have to see what's going to work and try to get Bo Nix over that hump. There's going to be some struggles during the season. You just got to be able to get over those struggles. It's not going to be candles and cake all the time. Like, it's not going to be easy. The NFL, it's a very, very difficult league. And there's always defensive minds out there that are going to try to game plan against you. So I think there's more pressure on Sean Payton to get this offense in the right direction this year than anything. Bo Nix showed what he could do last year. put this offense on his back and help this team reach the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So Sean Payton in this running game got to help Bo Nix out a little bit more this year. It can't just all be him.
Yeah,
And I'll add too, your one missed field goal in Buffalo from being tied 10-10 at half with Buffalo. I mean, yes, Buffalo was running on you, but there were 2 plays that you had them 3rd and long that Josh Allen just made Superman plays. That if you stop those with the improvements that you made on defense, in my opinion, you're right in that game. Do you win that game? Maybe not, but I think we've made the upgrades and they went out and addressed 2 of the biggest problems on defense right away. And I think he knows he can lean on this defense to keep them in games. And with the growth of Bo Nix, he can, maybe pull one out.
Yeah, absolutely. And couldn't agree more with what you guys said. We're getting close, so we may have to go just a couple minutes overtime, Keith. Doing that behind your back. I know you're paying the bills, but we might go a couple minutes overtime because we have one more topic to discuss. ESPN came out with their roster rankings earlier this week, over the weekend. And as Jody alluded to, 2024's Denver Broncos was the 31st ranked roster. Broncos 2025 posse is ranked number 6 and 4th in the AFC, which tells me if that all comes true, the Broncos win the AFC West because I think I think Buffalo is up there, Cincinnati.
No, it's Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City is up there over Cincinnati.
Kansas City is
so they're going to be fighting with Kansas City for that division if these rankings are legit. And that's what I want to ask everybody, and I'll ask Jody first. Do you agree with this ranking? Was it a little too high? I don't want to say too low because 6 is definitely at least fair. Do you think that maybe are you happy with that ranking, or would you rather see them a little lower and have bulletin board material by saying, look at where they have us ranked again this year?
No, I agree with this.
I think they'll have some big heads with that 6th ranked roster.
No, I don't think so because you have, a good set of veterans on this team that will keep everyone grounded. I like the ranking. You've got a top 2 offensive line. You've probably got a top 2 defense in the NFL. You've got a quarterback that's rookie, a quarterback coming off his rookie year that's emerging, who I think right now is fringe top 10. And I like the weapons that he has. Vele. The more I watch Pat Bryant, I'm high on Pat Bryant. I've always been high on Cortland Sutton. I always thought that the knock of, well, he's not a Jamar Chase. Well, who else is a Jamar Chase in the NFL? He's the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, and that's it. So I like the ranking. My bigger knock, and it's been for a while, was I thought the 31st ranked roster last year was a joke of a ranking. No one did any research. It was easy to say that you've got a rookie quarterback and rank that. And it was obvious from the very get-go that they were wrong on that. You were in, besides the Baltimore game, you never got blown out. You were in every game, and you played tough with tough teams that there never games that you lost that you easily could have won. So my bigger thing was the 31st ranking last year I thought was a joke.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And by the way, the Chiefs are ranked 5, so 5 and 6. It's right there. I guess you got to, if you're going to rank the Chiefs high, I guess they got until you knock them off, they got to be the best in the AFC West. So, Trevor, your thoughts on this ranking? Do you think it was a little, was it fair? Or was it unfair in certain ways? And I'm going to show you something in a minute that may, show you an unfair team that may be scary this year.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's a little high, I would say. But again, what do these rankings mean? For me, it's just, it's something to look at the beginning of the season. I don't pay attention too much into it, whether it's good or bad. You got to go out there and prove it at the end of the day. What is on paper doesn't mean much if you can't go out on the field and produce. So I think from the Broncos standpoint, they shouldn't be paying attention to it. They shouldn't have paid attention last year to it when they were the 31st ranked roster in the NFL, and they should be paying attention right now when they're top 6 right now. Have the top 6 roster in the NFL. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think there's 6 right now because of the play. You need more playmakers on offense, and we got to see a little bit more other than just Cortland Sutton. And I know we kind of know what Evan Ingram is, but again, you got to see what he can do within this offense. But you need more playmakers. So I don't think Denver has the sixth best roster right now, but also I don't read into those rankings a whole lot either. I got to see it on the field first and foremost. Those rankings at the end of the day, it's just entertainment.
Yeah, that's well said, Trevor. Keith is saying 6th is at least some recognition. What position group could move backwards? Get to that in 1 second. The team that nobody's talking about and the team that could, they're not 31st on roster and anywhere near it, but a team that's going to scare me in the AFC this year, guys, and we'll get to that in a future show, talk about it more. The Houston Texans are ranked 13. They're 13th best roster. And I'm looking at some of these guys, and I'm looking at all pros or former all pros. Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, 2 veteran running backs. You got CJ Stroud. You got a little sophomore slump. Offensive line could be a little weak. You got Nico Collins coming back. Christian Kirk drafted Jaden Higgins. On defense, some names to watch out for. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, CJ Gardner-Johnson. This team may have bulletin board material. Weak division, they might run away with it. By week 4, they may not look back. And it's a team to watch out for because the Broncos are going to have them on their schedule. And I want to see the Broncos perform well against them. But as opposed to, I don't look to it much neither. I just, wish they would have been ranked a little lower because then you could be like, oh, we got some bulletin board material, but ranked 6, you can't put that up and say, hey, we need to be number 1 because there's nothing wrong with being number 6. But Keith's got a question real quick, guys, and then we can wrap up some final thoughts. What position group could move backwards this year? Joe, do you want to go first?
Cornerback, I think, because you were pretty elite there. I mean, you had the Defensive Player of the Year. Is it a move back if he doesn't win it again? I mean, it's hard to do that twice. So I think that position is one that could move back. And maybe one other one is, does Bo Nix have a sophomore slump?
Yeah, well said. Well said. Trevor?
I think Keith kind of knows maybe what positional group I'm going to go with right now. And this is a positional group that I've been hard on the Broncos all offseason. I've been saying, you got to attack the defensive line. My gosh. And they didn't this offseason. I mean, DJ Jones, he re-signed him. That's fine. But again, what happened when you had Jonathan Taylor running all over you on your home field? I mean, it's just there's just some of those cracks that were in the foundation last year that I just don't think got filled much this offseason. I don't think it'll be a huge step backwards, but I could see it either being the same or a little worse. I wouldn't be surprised from a production standpoint. But the defensive line for me is a positional group that I think you have to really, specifically interior defensive line, like Paul just said here as well. That's what I'm talking about, where I think Denver could have really used some size up front instead of just bringing it back, running it back again with the same group that there were some cracks in the foundation with. So if you're going to be a successful football team, just like the Philadelphia Eagles did this past season, you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to get after the quarterback. It starts up front.
One thing I will disagree with that is I think Sean Payton, he felt that it was more linebackers and safety play that was not helping the run. I mean, this defensive line was, picking guys up and, opening gaps up for linebackers to fill and safeties, and they were not. And that is why you've seen day one of free agency, you went out and got in my opinion, the best linebacker that was on the market, and you went out and got a linebacker or a safety that fits this scheme perfectly, a blitzing type of scheme. And I think that's where Sean Payton thought it was more of the problem. This defensive line was holding guys up, and linebackers were missing tackles, missing gaps. Same with PJ Locke. So That would be my only kickback to that.
I don't have too many that would take steps back, but this would be maybe just baby steps backwards. And that's the edge rusher because of Benito's great year last year in sacks. Is he going to get that many? So I'm going to say maybe he'll be around the 12 sack range this year. And to me, that's a step backwards when we're talking about the question, could move backwards, just baby steps backwards. Love the linebackers. I think they're going to move forward. I think the secondary is going to take advantage of, having Jade Barron back there now. And I think they're going to be improved. Offensive side of the ball, the running backs are going to be better. Tight ends, I couldn't go there. Maybe offensive line, which I definitely hope not. But I'll just say a slight baby step backwards because of Benito having that amazing sack year last year. He falls down to maybe a normal range around 11, 12 sacks this year, which is nothing to be ashamed of. So I'll say that just as a default. I don't think there's many positions that could move backwards, Keith. Michael's saying tight ends go backwards. And let's hope that the only way I see that happening, Michael, and let's hope not, is if Evan Ingram goes down with an injury.
Yeah. I want to add something on this roster real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, go back over 2 years when Nathaniel Hackett got fired and the mess that Sean Payton took over. And you're basically 2 years into the Sean Payton era, and look what he's done, eating close to $100 million in Russell Wilson cap. I mean, you're still eating $35 or so million this year, and to go from what a lot of people said was the 31st ranked roster to the 6th in basically 1 year is pretty incredible. And a lot of people were calling for fire George Payton because of the Russell Wilson trade. Anyone would have made that trade. I mean, Russell Wilson was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Whether he gets there or not now, I don't know. But we hadn't had a quarterback here since Peyton Manning that was even close to what Russell Wilson brought. So other than that and maybe a couple little small deals, George Payton has been nails on, bringing guys in and different things. And what they've done with this roster in 2 years is, flat out impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can go from, on the chopping block to not even being mentioned about your job being in danger anymore with having a surprise year like the Broncos had last year. So,
and think about it, Sean Payton, he wasn't even Denver's first choice as head coach, and I wouldn't trade him for any of the other guys now. After seeing what I've seen, I wouldn't trade him for Harbaugh, and I definitely wouldn't trade him for DeMarco Ryans. So I think they hit a home run getting him, and everything they gave up to get him, I think, was well worth it.
So far, I'll agree with that, and we're going to wrap it up. So far, I agree with that, and I know Trevor's probably going to agree with me on this one. So far, the progress is there, but I'm not going to go that this is the by far the greatest move the Broncos made yet.
Yeah,
get to the Super Bowl, keep the progress going. You're going in the right direction. No steps backwards, like he said. Any positions go backwards? No. Let them all go forward this year. There's no reason why the Broncos can't go deep into the playoffs this year.
And that's why I love the 86% roster retention retained from the year before. I mean, to me, that's huge. It's, working together. I mean, you keep the best of the line together. You keep this defense intact, basically. It's why I expect this team to be 12, 13 wins this year.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope. The future's bright. Let the present's here. Let's go. It's no rebuild time. It's time to reload and hit that horizon. Let's go Broncos. Trevor, let's get some final thoughts, and we'll go to you first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Michael. I think he would have. I would think you would have sent stars with this one. Michael, if you did any of our star senders, we really appreciate you. I want to say thank you if you sent stars tonight. I know Phil was having a couple of problems sending stars. Right now, I can't unfortunately see them right now with my internet being kind of everywhere, all over the place. So I apologize for that first and foremost. But Michael, if you did send stars, thank you. And anybody else, if you guys sent stars, thank you as well. And then I want to get to Phil's question really quick. quick. When will George Paton get paid? That's something we haven't talked about, Phil, a lot this offseason. I think it'll be here pretty soon. I think George Paton and Sean Payton are tied to the hip. There was so much speculation when Sean Payton got hired that George Paton was going to be out the door sooner rather than later and whatnot. And those two, it's really been the opposite. Those two have worked together simultaneously, and they've built this roster up to where it's at now. And I think George Payton's also been a big part of that. Now you're starting to see some of his draft success now with Nick Bonito and that 2022 draft class. So it's good to see. I think George Payton will get paid and will get a contract extension here in the near future. Just based upon where this Broncos organization is heading, this team is definitely heading in the right direction. But final thoughts for me, again, thank you for everybody in the posse. Thank you to my co-host for being here with me tonight. Keith, we miss you. We hope you're having a great vacation and can't wait to see what your thoughts are on at training camp when you get to go here later this week. And thankfully for everybody else as well. I think everybody else is excited to hear what you have to say as well. I can't wait to have you back. But I'm also very thankful for the posse for staying with me with my internet issues tonight, and to my amazing co-host as well for being here and sticking with me with internet issues. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And as always, go Broncos. Be safe out there.
Well said, Trevor. Jody, final thoughts from the judge. It's the first time I said that tonight.
Football's back, boys. Can't be more excited. I love this time of the year. I haven't been more excited for the Broncos since probably 2015. I think this team can make a deep run if Nick takes that next step. They have everything in place, in my opinion. Notre Dame is really good this year, and I think they will be in the national championship contention again. So I love this time of the year, and training camp starts Friday. Fingers crossed no one gets hurt. That's the only thing that will derail this team this year is injuries. Knock on wood that doesn't happen. And, thanks to everyone. And shows are going to get more exciting and bigger and better now that football started. And it's go time.
Yep, it definitely is go time. I'm going to echo, Trevor and Jody's words. Thank you, Posse, for stars, interaction, the comments. You guys were great as always. Captain's going to be at the Cardinal game. He'll keep an eye out for us. Enjoy that, Captain. Like Jody said, it's football season. I can't wait. I'm very excited to see what the Broncos bring here, being part of the Broncos podcast each week, and Broncos, or with you guys, the Horsemen, the Posse. Keith, I'm going to do this. I hope you're proud of me. We go out one way and one way only. I got it written down on a cue card here. Keep your boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, Broncos in your heart. Till next week, Friday, Jody and Keith or whoever will be there. Go Broncos. Have a good night, everybody. See everybody soon.